Wild Birds Unlimited in Barrie, and I am super excited to give you a sneak peek of a brand new feeder we have coming in store, the Squirrel Buster Suet. This is a brand new feeder from the Squirrel Buster line, and it is not yet available. So I'm excited to give you a sneak peek and open the box, see what's inside, and tell you all about how to use it and where to hang it. You may have been waiting for this product for a long time if you're like me. I love the Squirrel Buster line of feeders, and I have been waiting for a suet product. And of course the company, the parent company Brome, has gotten this feedback for many years, and so taking that feedback, they created the Squirrel Buster Suet feeder. So it will be coming out very soon, and if you're interested in getting your hands on one of these, let us know, get in touch with us, and we can certainly put you on a pre-order list. Without further ado, let's open up and see what's in the box. Been waiting for this for such a long time. It's so exciting. The Squirrel Buster line of feeders are some of the best ways to keep squirrels and blackbirds out of your bird food. It doesn't get any easier than some of their feeders, which are super easy to use and really effective. So this is what it looks like fresh out of the box. So I'm going to take that plastic off and just store it in the box for now. And the feeder is literally 3 pieces. These 2 pieces and then the hanger hook that you're going to use to put it up in the tree where you hang it or on your pole system. So there are some important instructions you need to be aware of when you first open it. There's a big red label here that tells you that you need to keep it 18 inches away from a tree base or fence line or anything that a squirrel can sit on and reach their hands in without triggering the feeder. You need 18 inches or 1.5 feet away from anything so that the squirrels can't cheat the feeder. If you have keep this distance, and this is consistent with all of Brome's feeders actually, but if you keep that distance, they work incredibly well. That's the only caveat though. If a squirrel can reach in without triggering the closure mechanism, then they can possibly get some of your food. There's also an instruction manual right here on the back, so if you're looking for where the instructions are, they're right here. Don't throw these out, but if you accidentally misplace them, they are available online. Brome is great about making their products available online, all the information about it. And in fact, here you can see there's some diagrams with an instruction telling you to go watch the video if you need some further help. So that's great too. So the instruction booklet's really helpful. Like all of their other instruction booklets, it reviews the weights of specific birds. So if you're interested in blocking out larger birds or making the feeder accessible to larger birds, it tells you what the weights of those birds are. It also tells you the weights of the squirrels, so the common squirrels in North America. Now I will mention that as a caveat, Brome feeders are not chipmunk proof. So if chipmunks are the ones getting into your bird feeders, you need a baffle to keep them out. And it also won't stop juvenile or really small red squirrels or Douglas squirrels. So we don't have Douglas squirrels here in Ontario, but I figured I'd mention it in case anyone else is watching from out of province that has Douglas squirrels. So if you have those squirrels around, just be mindful that during certain times of the year when the babies are out, it's possible that they can get into the food as well. So you may have to adjust how you're feeding during that time. I will also mention that like all other Brome Squirrel Buster feeders, they are not raccoon proof and they are not bear proof. So you should keep this into consideration when you're figuring out where to hang it or what time of year to use it in. All right, now that we've discussed some of the critters that might be attracted to this, of course, let's talk about the other creatures that are going to be attracted to this, the birds. I've chosen to hang mine in a pine treed area because this is where a lot of our woodpeckers hang out. We have red bellies, downies, hairies, pileateds, flickers, wide variety of woodpeckers, along with chickadees, lots of nuthatches, both red and white, and those are going to be the types of birds that are attracted to this feeder for the most part. You may get some occasional visits from warblers, maybe if you're lucky a brown creeper. That's certainly a possibility, especially if you're using bark butter inside this feeder. But primarily it's going to be for those types of birds, woodpeckers, nuthatches, and chickadees. So the feeder actually comes apart really easily. if you're looking to put in a suet cake or change your suet cake, the first thing you're going to do is open the latch here, just from the side. And you can actually, well, here's where our hanger is. Normally that's not stored in there, just for packaging purposes, but you can see that the trays easily slide in and out. So when you slide it down to the bottom, you can take the tray right out and insert your suet. Okay, that's where your suet's gonna go. Now this feeder accommodates 2 suet cakes on both sides, so you can actually open up both areas and take out the yellow suet holders. Now, one of the reasons this slides up and down is that as the food is eaten in the feeder, the cake will slowly make its way down to the bottom until it's empty. This is really important to note. I'll show you when it's all set up, but there are 2 feeding holes here. So when the cake is full, when there's a full cake in there, the birds can feed from the top perch area, but they won't be able to feed from the bottom port. So this accommodates the cake being eaten, and once it slides all the way down to the bottom, they can get everything, and then you'll need to replace your suet. Okay, so that's how you open it. Now, like a lot of their feeders, it comes with a tension adjustment, which is really handy when keeping out smaller squirrels or larger birds. So Brome recommends that you keep your feeder at the factory setting, and there's actually a band here that shows you may not be able to see it from the camera, but there's actually a clear band of a little bit of frosted plastic where you can see where that level is, so it indicates where the factory setting is. If you go higher, it's going to help you block out some of the larger birds or smaller squirrels. And if you put the tension a little lower, if you move that red dial lower, you're going to allow access to bigger birds like blue jays. So if blue jays are somebody you want to attract through suet, you want that red dial maybe to move down a touch. And the way that it moves up and down is just by turning this green dial clockwise or counterclockwise. Can't be any simpler than that. You can also take this all the way apart. Sometimes the springs can get a little jammed or may need an adjustment, or you may want to clean it. And so the way you would take it all apart is just by unscrewing this clear piece, and the other 2 pieces will come out along with the spring. Now I'm not going to do that because it tends to send the pieces flying. That spring's got a lot of tension on it, so I won't do that for the purposes of this video, but just so you know, it can come apart. All right, well, I'm super excited to set this up, so let's do it. So I'm going to take out the cardboard instructions and little cardboard suet cakes to put in some real suet. And I will be using, of course, our Wild Birds Unlimited Super Suet. Nothing beats this suet. It is the best suet on the market, hands down, full of mealworms and other tasty treats, lots of nuts, and the birds go crazy for it. So this is definitely the one that I'm going to use. My woodpeckers love it. And I'm going to be putting 1 cake on each side of the feeder. And of course, the nice thing with our Super Suet packages is they come right off. You just peel it back and the suet cake is ready to go. Now, just a little tip here. I freeze my suet cakes before I put them in the feeder, regardless of the season, because it's so much easier to pop a frozen cake out. So there we go. Put my first cake in, and I'm just gonna snap it in there and lock it down. So there's number 1. Make sure I keep my garbage. It's a little windy today, so I don't want it to blow away. It also can be a little slippery once you've opened your first pack of suet and get your hands a little bit oily, so keep that in mind too. You may want to open them both before handling the suet. Okay, I'm seeing lots of mealworms in this cake. It's really good. All right, and the second one is in. Now, because I froze it, some of the suet looks like it shifted a little bit to the bottom. It might have been a little warm when I put it in the freezer, so it's dug in a little bit here, but that's fine. That's not going to affect the birds at all. So there's a little lip on the feeder right here. So you want to put your cake in at the bottom and slide it up to fasten it. Okay, so it's held in there. All right, time to put the other cake in. And there are arrows here too, just on the bottom of these yellow containers. You may not be able to see them, but the arrows are pointing this way, indicating which way is up. That's always good. Make sure we have it right. Okay, so I'm just taking the hanger out. And we'll take off the pretty picture of the red-bellied woodpecker on the front here. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna slide the top piece, the shroud, over top. I'm just gonna hook in the hanger, and voila, there we have it. And this is how it works. When the squirrels climb on, it shuts off access to the port. So you can see that that squirrel is actually blocked out. And you'll notice that the mesh right in front of the suet cake is actually smaller than the mesh where the birds cling. And that's specifically to keep the hands of squirrels out of there. And because it's made of metal, they're not going to be able to chew through anything, which is really helpful as well. This is really handy. I'm going to really enjoy putting this out. And part of the reason I chose this location is because of where our hammock is. And we love spending time in the hammock. I love being out here. I actually have a pole system set up behind the camera on the other side where the birds come and feed. And you can hear some blue jays in the background who are waiting for me to leave. And that setup attracts a lot of birds. So I'm excited to be able to offer suet there as well. All right. Now, in consideration of where to hang it, we talked about keeping it 18 inches from the base of a tree, which is what I'm going to do. Now, I have a tree hook on a branch already where I'm going to be hanging it. So it's our Wild Birds Unlimited 48-inch or 4-foot tree hook, so it's quite long. And it's the ideal thing to put in a tree to hang your bird feeders from trees. Now you can also use a chain. Just be mindful that depending on how high up it is, you may have difficulty accessing the feeder. So you want to be sure wherever you hang it, you're going to be able to access it regularly to be able to clean it out and fill it, of course, for your birds. So I have a little stool set up. There we go. It's hung and ready to use, and it's at the perfect height for taking pictures. So I can't wait to set up my camera and have it ready to go to watch and enjoy the birds coming to visit this feeder. There you have it, the Squirrel Buster Suet. Again, Wild Birds Unlimited Barrie will be carrying this feeder when it's available. And if you're interested, please let us know. We'll put you on a waiting list to make sure that we get a feeder with your name on it. In terms of price point, we don't know how much it's going to be yet, but we do know it will probably be in line with Brome's other feeders. Brome's feeders are a high-end feeder. They have a lifetime warranty, so you know, if something happens to them, barring raccoon and bear damage, or something that is not normal wear and tear, they will fully back their products and replace them for you, so you can be sure that when you spend your money, you're putting it to a good use and something that's going to last a long time. So they comes with their lifetime warranty, and if you need parts, you can come to Wild Birds Unlimited Barrie or call Brome directly. They're great to work with, and they'll help you out, make sure that your feeders are working properly. So that's part of the investment that you make with their feeders. So they are more on the expensive side, but you'll get some great use out of them, and you'll keep the critters away. So that's awesome. That's the end of our unboxing video. Thank you so much for watching, and keep feeding the birds. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.